So here we are. So we are told Kadizenga, it's May. The question is May 2019. May 2019, question number 4. Kadizenga Limited is a Kenyan company with a substantial proportion of its trade with companies in the USA. Kadizenga Limited invoiced a US firm $60,000, which are receivable 3 months from today. Ladies and gentlemen, they're giving us information there. The borrowing rate is 3% above the bank rate, while the investing rate is 2% below the bank base rate. These rates apply both in Kenya and in the US. Number 2, the bank base rates in Kenya and the US are 15 and 10% per annum respectively. The exchange rates in the forex market between the Kenya shilling and the US is they're given there. Required, they want us to calculate the amount to be received by Kadizenga Limited using number 1, forward contract hedge. So taanza na hiyo kitu ya forward contractee. Any examiner who gives me this kind of a question is an examiner who is wishing me what here? Success. Is an examiner who is wishing me success. So forward contract. I hope wanaona bodi yangu jameni. Forward contract. So forward contract, I only need 2 things. Number 1, I need the amount. The amount, how much are we looking at? Ladies and gentlemen, the amount we are looking at, Kadizenga Limited expects to receive how much? Expects to receive 60,000 US dollars. US dollars. And then number 2, after amount, I expect a 3 months. 3 months forward. 3 months forward exchange rate. 3 months forward exchange rate. This examiner wanted to confuse my students by giving them something in between there, by giving them a 1 month forward rate. That 1 month forward rate, they're putting it there to confuse those students who are easily confusable. 1 month forward rate, strike that off. Remember the 60,000, we are expecting to receive the 60,000 in how many months? In 3 months. In 3 months. So you can only use 3 months forward rate, which is 101, all the way to 102, all the way to 102, Kenya shillings per US dollar. Hebu tingiza mkono jameni, uweze kuniambia straight away, tingiza mkono jameni, uweze kuniambia straight away. Which one should we take as our buy? Which one should we take as our buy? Look at the currency. The Kenya shilling is on the left-hand side. If the Kenya shilling is on the left-hand side, the left figure, the figure that is on the left here, becomes bar. The other figure becomes what here? Becomes sell. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. This 60,000 US dollars is a receivable to Kadizenga Limited. This amount, they expect to receive this amount. So this is a receivable. And of course, as you guys are aware, for all foreign currency receivable, the bank will always be doing what here? Buying. So the bank here would buy. And because you've been able to designate 101 as the buying rate, so we say a receivable of 60,000, the bank is going to buy at 101. The bank will buy at 101 Kenya shillings per what here? Per dollar. The bank will buy at 101 Kenya shillings per dollar. At 101 Kenya shillings per dollar. So go ahead and exchange for us. So exchanging for us, what do we have? We have 101 Kenya shillings equals $1. How about our 60,000? How about our 60,000 US dollars? Idea mwalimu jameni. How about our 60,000 US dollars? Pata potea saidia mwalimu. Iko mwanafunzi anasema kwamba anasikii vizuri. I want to believe in internet yake because I can see I'm getting so many answers from some students. So mwanafunzi lazima ni internet yake ndio shida. Elezo answer inafaa kuwa 60,000. So if you cross multiply, number the final answer is 60,000 Kenya what? Kenya shillings. By doing that, you have your 2 marks. By doing that, you have your 2 marks. Alafu useme kwamba examiner wakasene bakupendi. Akupendi namna gani anakupatia swali rahisi hivyo. So number 1, kwisha. Tuangalie number 2. Number 2, what are they talking about? Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, they are talking about money markets. Number 2, they are talking about money markets. Now remember, for money markets, ladies and gentlemen, if you can recall, money markets number 2, money markets number 2, money markets number 2, money markets number 2, we need to know the rule. The rule. Remember that these 60,000, the 60,000 is a receivable. The 60,000 is a receivable. If 60,000 is a receivable, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to use rule number 1. Rule number 1 is applicable. Rule 1 is applicable since $60,000 represents to us a receivable, a receipt. So rule number 1 goes like this: foreign boyfriend buys dinner. Foreign boyfriend buys dinner. This is rule number 1. Foreign boyfriend buys dinner. And you mlikuwa mnasema mko available lunch hour. I can see you are about 50 students. Mmetokelezea wapi? Mmetokelezea wapi? Na ile pesa ambayo mtasave ya lunch mtapeleka wapi leo? Naomba niwasaidie kusave. Niwasaidie sana kusave. So tumesema rule number 1, there are only 2 rules. We have rule number 1 is foreign receipt, buy foreign, borrow foreign, I mean. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. The other one I'll be teaching you later. For now, the rule that we are using is the one of foreign receipt, where we expect to receive. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Borrow foreign. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. So it's a receivable, and as such, we shall be using rule number 1. Foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Ladies and gentlemen, remember here we have got 2 currencies. We have the Kenya shilling and we have the US what here? US dollar. And because Kadizenga is a Kenyan company, being a Kenyan company, the one that is foreign to us is the dollar. The one that is foreign to us is the dollar. So in this particular case, ladies and gentlemen, the company will borrow, so borrow foreign. Borrow foreign. And the foreign currency you're telling me is the US what here? US dollar. Is a US dollar. Nikishajua hiyo right away, what I will do, I'll come and draw my table, ya money markets. Let's draw our table, ya money markets. But just before we draw the table, this examiner is a bright examiner. This examiner never gave us interest rates directly, like how the other examiners have been doing. This examiner came with some 2 notes. Look at additional information, note number 1. Additional information, note number 1. The borrowing rate, we are told, is 3% above the bank base rate, while the investing rate is 2% below the bank base rate. These rates apply both in Kenya and where? And in the US. Ah, great, great. So ladies and gentlemen, I would want to construct my interest rates here. I'm given 2 countries. We have Kenya, and then we have the US. So they have given me the base rate, the benchmark rate. Wanasema uye, ukiangalia note number 2, the bank base rates in Kenya and the US are 15% and 10% respectively. So Kenya 15% base rate, and then the US, what percentage? 10%. And then, ladies and gentlemen, look at note number 1. Note number 1, what do we have in note number 1? In note number 1, nasema, the borrowing rate is 3% above the bank base rate, while the investing rate is 2% below. So you've got 2 rates here. We have the investing, and then we have the borrowing. We have the investing and the borrowing. Investing, they have told us, investing rate is 2% below. So it is minus 2%. And then the borrowing rate, we are told from what number 1, the borrowing rate is 3% above. The borrowing rate is 3% what year above. So plus what year? Plus 3%. Plus 3%. Plus 3%. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, please, given that we have the base rate, could you kindly give me the investing rate in Kenya? Investing rate in Kenya is 2% below. So 15% minus 2% gives me 13%. And then we have 15% plus 3% to ascertain the borrowing. So the borrowing here is 18%. Then we have USA, investing is 2% below the base. So 10% minus 2, yeah. This gives me 8%, 10% plus 3% gives me what figure? This gives me 13% like that. So ningetaka kujua kwanza, ingekuwa ni wewe kwa hii exam, ungepata kitu ama ungeona giza? Hii interest. Ungepata ama ungeona giza? Ungepata correct. Giza. Uzuri si exam. Exam bado iko mbali. Wanafunzi online wanasemaje? Wangepata ama wangeona giza? Sioni comments za wanafunzi wa online. Wangepata ama giza? Okocha Dan anasema angepata, ningepata. Thank you very much. Ningepata. Very good. Very good. Now, from ladies and gentlemen, please come and help us to draw our table ya money markets. Kuja chora table ya money markets. When ya kwanza hata kama uelewi sana, unasema borrow in capital letters. That is how you scare the examiner. In capital letters, unasema borrow. Remember, life is about scaring others. Scare the examiner. Scare the examiner. Scare the examiner. So which currency am I going to borrow here? Euro. Do you have euros here? US dollars, yes. Because you are the ones who have told me that Mwalimu, this thing is all about foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Remember, I've got two currencies. We have Kenya, which is local currency, Kenya shilling, and then we have the US, which is the foreign. And you've told me to borrow foreign. So what I'm going to do is to borrow foreign, and the foreign is the US dollar. The foreign is the US dollar. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the moment I borrow this US dollar, here I'm going to convert, of course, as usual. I'll convert always at spot. Remember, money markets doesn't make use of forward. Money markets doesn't make use of forward. Money markets normally uses the spot. So I'm going to convert at spot. I convert the US dollars to which currency? To Kenya shilling. Thank you very much. So what will I do with this Kenya shilling? Leo ukipata Kenya shilling, mwingine ataanza kula Kenya shilling kama njugu. Hapana kula. Hapa tunajua ni kufanya nini kwa hii buku? We invest in it. So invest Kenya shillings like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into serious business now here. Let's get into serious business here. I would want to see whether there is any student who will be able to advise us here. Borrowing rate, interest rate in the US. Borrowing. In the USA, borrowing, is there someone who is able to see 13%? Borrowing in the USA, is there someone who is able to see 13%? I can see that my online students are able to see that 13%. So this 13%, ladies and gentlemen, is an annual figure which has to be prorated. So I should multiply this 13% with what? 13% multiplied with what, somebody? 13% multiplied with 3/12 years, because we expect to receive this money in 3 months' time. So times 3/12, wewe kuna kitu unasahau plus huu. Plus 1. Hata kama sielewi, nasema plus 1. Yes. Unakuja kwa imu wengine, unasema investing the Kenya shilling. Investing the Kenya shilling, ladies and gentlemen, what do you expect there? Investing in Kenya. Are you able to see investing in Kenya is 13%? Investing in Kenya, what percentage? 13%, isn't it? Investing in Kenya, 13%. This one has also to be time prorated. Plus 1 equals ni mzuri sana. Hii hata sitafikiria sasa. Hebu nipateni hasa mnapata ngapi hapa? 1.0325. The same figure hata sitaweza naleta hii figure hapa. Najua ni 1.0325 like that. 325. Of course, I'm aware for those students who are joining us for the very first time. I'm so sure most of them, na kwanza kama ujione kitu ya money markets, Most of them wanashangaa hii ni science aina gani? Hii ni science ama ni nini? But the only thing that I can simply tell you is to endure a little bit. You should be able to understand this thing very well. Endurance is something that we need. Very good. Asante sana. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after finish, haujafanya analysis ya spot rate. Are you able to see the spot rate? Remember, in money markets, you normally use the spot rate. Could you kindly write for us the spot rate that you guys are seeing in the chat room? In the chat room, the spot exchange rate, the spot exchange rate, the spot exchange rate, spot exchange rate. So spot exchange rate, wanasema ni 103. Thank you very much. Spot exchange rate, the 103, all the way to who? Somebody. To 105. Kumbuka hii ni mambo ya exchange rate. Huwezi ukaandika tu 103. Lazima useme kama ni Kenya shilling ama ni nini. Hii sio biashara ya ng'ombe. Lazima ukuje useme uye kama hii imeambiwa ni Kenya shilling per watt ya somebody. Kenya shilling per watt ya somebody. Per US dollar. It's Kenya shilling per US dollar. Sasa nataka mnisikize na mnisikize vizuri. Between the two, which one is the buying rate? Where is our Kenya shilling? On the left side. So if it's on the left side, the left figure automatically becomes what here? Buy. If it's on the left side, the left figure becomes buy. The other one becomes who? Sell. Don't forget what our foreign boyfriend does. Don't forget what our foreign... Remember, this question is a question of rule number 1. Foreign boyfriend buys, isn't it? So of course, there is no way I will take both figures or even the average here. Here, I'm going to take the buying because of the rule. Because of the rule. And I can see so many students who are telling me, Mwalimu, don't work with 105, work with 103. So here I have 103 Kenya shillings per who? A dollar like that. Tukishamaliza mambo yote, tunakuja tunaweka pesa chini ya meza. Pesa inafichwa chini ya meza. Na ni pesa ngapi tunaongea kuhusu hapa? How much money are we talking about, somebody here? 60,000, isn't it? So hii 60,000, mwanafunzi mwenye haelewi sana atakuja anaweka hapa 60,000. Na anaandika tu vizuri. Anaandika 60,000 what ya US dollar. Amefanya makosa gani akiweka 60,000 US dollar? Amefanya makosa gani? Amefanya makosa gani oye? He has not matched the currency. He has not matched the currency. We are talking of 60,000 US dollars. What will be US dollars doing on the leg of a Kenya shilling? So it has to be on this side of US dollars. So come and put these 60,000 US dollars here. And then of course now you start the journey up. Up, what do we normally do? Upwards. We divide. Upwards, we always divide. Upwards, we always divide. 60,000 divided by 1.0325. Give me a figure, I write it up there. Very good. Upwards, in this case here, you divide. You divide. I don't know why I can't see my button for muting everyone. Button for muting everyone. And I can see everybody pointing towards Mercy. Mercy, you need to mute yourself because Mwalimu can't see. There's a button I normally use here to mute everyone. For sababu ya time, let us mute. Let's mute our microphones, all of us, because I can't take. So somebody tells me it's supposed to be 58, 58. 58, 111 point. Kumbukeni sisi ni matajiri. Money markets hakuna kitu ya point, isn't it? Money markets sisi ni matajiri. So ili 58, 111 Kenya shillings ama dollar? Dollar. Thank you very much. So come on, in dollar. On the other side of the coin, they need us to convert this to Kenya shillings. Should I divide this with this or multiply? Pata potea, divide ama multiply. Nani huyu hapo kwenda lunch nataka kuniongelesha? Kuniongelesha, andika kitu kwa chat. Asante sana. What they are telling me, mwalimu, this is quite an easy thing. I would want to multiply so that this dollar and this dollar will do what? Will cancel. So that I'll be left with Kenya shilling. So that I'll be left with Kenya shilling. Ama ufanye kimada tang. Mada tang ni mzuri sana za kuambia ukweli. Mada tang unaikamata sana. Mada tang wenye unakuja unasema 103 Kenya shillings equals $1. How about 58,111 dollars? You cross multiply. Cross multiply unapo unapo kufanya 103 times that 58,111 ambayo inakuja tupatia ngapi? Inakuja tupatia ngapi? Pata potea. Yes. Ngapi sababu? 59? 59.5. Oh, hata nianze mwanzo. Nianze mwanzo. Hata nianze mwanzo. So unasema inakuja ngapi somebody? 59 885 4 than 3 4 than 3 59 wamekataa hiyo 59 like that. Alafu 433 cows Kenya shillings. Kenya shillings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, let's get down. Going down, what do we do? Going down, what do we do? Down, always we multiply. Down, we always multiply. So this times this gives us what figure? This and that, you multiply. What are we getting, somebody? What are we getting? 61? 61? 79? 960? Kenya who? Kenya shillings, please, circle like this. And I can see so many of my online students, putting decimals, forgetting the fact that we in money markets are millionaires. We always tell people to keep change. Hakuna kitu kama decimals, hakuna kitu kama decimals, hakuna kitu kama decimals. So ningetaka nipatie mwanafunzi mmoja wangu wa day class, at least awafunze concept moja hapa. Ndio muone vile mwalimu hapa kuna daughters warembo kabisa Aha, so wacha niandike swali kwanza. Kwa so kabla niandike swali, hebu tupatie summary. Summary. So summary, forward contract ilikuwa tupatia ngapi somebody forward contract? 66 60,000 Kenya shillings, isn't it? Alafu kuja hapo tuseme money what here somebody? Money market, isn't it? Money market, how much are we going to receive at the end of the day? 61.79 960. Niko peke yangu 61.79 960 or 959, isn't it? Now between the two, which one in this case here will you go for? Money market or forward contract? Money market, Money market. So wanafunzi wa online, tumeelewana kwanza paka hapo kwamba money market ndio optimal ama umetoka. Itakuwa mbaya ukiwa umesacrifice lunch time yako na utoke bure. Itakuwa mbaya sana. Tuko pamoja. Aha, huyu ni mmoja amesema pekee out of 50 students, that is scaring. How about the other students? Tuko pamoja kweli? Thank you very much, Peter. Peter reminds us that this is a receivable. And if it's a receivable, the higher, the better for us. The higher, the better for us. We good. Thank you very much. Tuko sawa. Ano wanafunzi watano. Great. Aya. Sasa kama tuko pamoja hapa, nataka hapa kuwapatia swali rahisi sana. Na hii swali ningetaka uandike title. Uandike title yake namna hii, purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity. Parity theorem. Purchasing power parity theorem. Purchasing power parity theorem. Purchasing power parity theorem. Andika namna hiyo kweli? Na ningetaka uniandikie formula straight away, useme kwamba F equals S into 1 plus inflation of country C all over 1 plus inflation of country B. 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 Peter nasema hata njaa imeisha, which is very good. Purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity. So naandika F equals S into 1 plus inflation country C all over 1 plus inflation country B. So I know all of you are ready, right? So it's anyone, I'll just choose on anyone. Doesn't have to be her. And please don't run away. I know you guys can't let me down, right? Ameanza kuamuka pole pole. Okay. There are not very many, by the way. There are very few people online. Only 2. 2 students cannot scare you away, isn't it? Even if there are 500, so what? Now, ladies and gentlemen, nataka usikize sana. Umeona, if two countries here, if two countries have the same purchasing power, the same rate of inflation, then the exchange rate will not fluctuate. The exchange rate will not fluctuate. i.e., F will be equal to S. F will be equal to S. Remember that F is the forward exchange rate. The forward exchange rate. F is the forward exchange rate, and S is the spot exchange rate. 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 Aya. So pata potea, my great students, pata potea. Tunaambiwa kwamba if two countries have the same rate of inflation is also known as the purchasing power. Have the same means what here? They are at parity. Parity means the same. If they have the same exchange rate here, meaning that if it is Kenya, 10%, Uganda, 10%, then automatically this will be, if this is 10% and this is 10%, oh yeah, my F here will be equal to S into 1.1 all over 1. Najua wanafunzi wangu wa online hawajaona 1.1 imetoa wapi, sababu ya 10% is the same as 0.1, kwa hivyo itakuwa 1.1. So if these two will be the same, automatically they'll cancel out, leaving us with F being equal to S. F being equal to S. F will be equal to S like that. So you're saying something very important, that if the inflation rates between the two countries are the same, then automatically we will always have stability of exchange rates. Stability of exchange rates. They will not keep on fluctuating. So if in this semester they ask you to give them reasons which contribute to exchange rates being different, exchange rates fluctuating, don't forget to quote changes in what year? Inflation rates. Changes in interest rates. Here we are looking at inflation rate like that. So sasa niko na question hapa sasa, illustration. They have given me spot rate. Illustration, they have given me spot rate is 30 Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling. 30 Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling. 30 Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling. Wamenipatia inflation in Kenya. Inflation in Kenya is 14%. We have inflation in Uganda. Inflation in Uganda is 16%. So they want us to calculate 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, forward, forward exchange rate. They want us to calculate 3 months forward exchange rate. Kamata maneno sasa. So nimeinvite mwanafunzi wangu mmoja awasaidie kusolve na mumuulize maswali tafadhali. Tutanibutie hii ndio aanze mwanzo. Hii hiwezi kuwa vita ya mtu mmoja tu mwalimu yake na hapo na wanafunzi wengi hapa. Hapana. Aha.
Hello, my name is Sharon. We are going to do this question. So we have to calculate the 3-month forward exchange rate. So let's start with the formula. We are given that if you want to find the forward exchange rate, is equals to spot 1 plus inflation of country C. We'll identify if it's Uganda or Kenya, plus 1 plus inflation of country B. So the spot rate is 30 Ugandan per 1 Kenya shillings. So spot we are given 30 Ugandan shilling. 30 Uganda is equals to 1 shillings. 1 plus inflation of country C. So if you are given 30 Ugandan shillings for 1 Kenya shillings, so this itakuwa numerator.
Yes.
So hii unakuja unaandika hivi Uganda shillings over Kenya shillings. So hii numerator ndio itakuwa E.
Very good.
So unakuja kuandika 1 plus inflation ya Uganda.
Yes.
So inflation ya Uganda ni 16. Utakuja kuandika 16. Lakini it's 3 months. So you have to apportion.
Okay, 16%. 16%.
Yeah, 16%. So inflation ya B itakuwa 14%. So utaandika 1 plus 14 times 3 over 12. 14%.
So
1 plus 16% times 3 over 12. 1.04. 1.04. Msha add. 1.04. What about this one?
Ask also the online students to give you answers. Yes. Ask them to give you answers.
Kindly give me your answers. One point 0.035. So 1.04 if you divide it 1.035.
Great.
Kindly give me this value.
Hapo chini wanapandikia charts. Lazima kwa mambo wanapandikia charts. Hakuna mama amesema.
Wajiandika.
Ngoja tumpatie sisi hapa.
Umepata ngapi? 1.04 divide 9. 1.004. 1.004. So 30 times this one. 30.145. So don't forget to write Uganda shillings.
Thank you very much. Great. Aya, so wanafunzi online namna gani? Wameona kitu ama wameona giza? wamekuwa wakifunzwa na Sharon. Okay. So, wanasema hivi mwalimu umeivisha hawa sana mpaka wanaelekea kuwa CPA clerks. So, turudia rakaraka. So, ile kitu ya maana, ladies and gentlemen, ambao unafaa kujua katika forward, and this is very common, katika forward. So, we have here our forward exchange rate formula. Our forward exchange rate formula equals our spot rate into 1 plus inflation country C, all over 1 plus inflation country B. Where most of us go wrong is in defining which country will got the numerator. As Sharon told us, you need simply look at your spot exchange. If you look at your spot exchange, utaona kumeandikwa Uganda shilling, Kenya shilling. So Uganda shilling liko juu na Kenya shilling iko chini. Kama Uganda shilling liko juu, kumaanisha kwamba C ni Uganda numerator na hii B inakuwa ni Kenya, like that. Inamaanisha, ladies and gentlemen, that our forward rate will be equal to our spot rate. Spot rate is given. It is 30 into 1 plus inflation in Uganda. Inflation in Uganda is 16%. That is the same as 0.16. That is an annual figure which has to be prorated as per our time, which is 3/12, all over 1 plus inflation in Kenya, which is 0.14, times again 3/12. So hapo unaenda pole pole, you can either do this separately, upate paka answer, alafu mara mwisho multiply na 30, utupatie figure. Na hiyo figures nataka nipate kutoka kwa wanafunzi wa online. Wanafunzi wa online. I wish I could just get this thing of muting students. Today I happen to be having a different machine. Dan anasema nice to see Sharon. Sharon asante. Sharon uko na mashabiki. So at the end of the day, what are we getting? Now let us not talk about Sharon. Give me the figure. So Jaira says it is 30.144. The final answer according to Jaira, 30.144. Uganda shillings per what year per Kenya shilling. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. We were at 30 Uganda shillings being able to buy 1 Kenya shilling. But at the moment, for us to go to buy 1 Kenya shilling like this, we need more Uganda shillings. We need 30.144. So the question is, has the Uganda shilling weakened or strengthened? Weakened or strengthened? Wanasema it has become weaker. And for sure it has become weaker because of what here? A higher inflation rate in Uganda. A higher inflation rate in Uganda. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this a notch higher. Utaenda kwa exam this semester, upate hivi upate examiner, anakuambia Mr. A expects to pay 22 million Uganda Tanzania shillings. Tanzania shillings in 4 months time. In 4 months time, Mr. A expects to pay 22 million Tanzania shillings in 4 months time. So Mr. A is a Kenyan, by the way. Mr. A is a Kenyan. Alafu watakupatia interest rate. Watakwambia interest rate in Kenya. Watakuandikia hapa 8% to 14%. Wakuja wakwambia interest rate in Tanzania. Tanzania is a little bit I don't know what is going to happen this time around economically, perhaps because of this corona, how they handled it. Maybe they could be ahead of Kenya. But let's put it the way it used to be. It used to be a very business country, 12% to 20%. Characterized by very high rates of interest. Okay, so we are required, ladies and gentlemen, here to determine The amount payable to determine amount payable, to determine amount payable using using interest rate parity. Interest rate parity theorem. Interest rate parity theorem. Interest rate parity theorem. So we only have 5 minutes to wind up this class, and before we wind it up, I must get a student. The board is not clear. I must get a student. We're online. This time round wanafunzi were online. Akitupatia correct answer. Wanafunzi wa online akitupatia correct answer. Wanafunzi wa online akitupatia correct answer. Unajua saa zingine ikiwa hesabu ni ngumu, wanasema board is not clear. Yes. Is it clear now? Is the board clear? Is the board clear? The question is here. Mr. A, who is a Kenyan, expects to pay 22 million Tanzania shillings in how many months? In 4 months' time. Interest rate in Kenya is 8% to 14%. Interest rate in Tanzania is 12% to 20%. Required, determine the amount payable using interest rate parity. Jairus, this is 22 million Tanzania shillings. I know also the problem is that my pen is not very visible. Let me get a better pen. So nangoja mwanafunzi wa online aniambie yes. The spot rate sijapeana. Yes, true. Kujeni hapa spot rate 100 to 101. Kenya shillings 100 to 1. No, yes kwa 100 yote kwa juu sana. Rudishe chini kwa nini? Tuseme 30 to 33. 33 Tanzania shillings per Kenya shilling. Tukimaliza jameni. Or so that we disappear, mwalimu, do it very fast. Thank you very much. Yes. Let me just finish it. Sasa nisikizeni vizuri, ikiwa ni interest rate parity, kwanza hapa examiner hajanipatia forward rate. So mwanzo tutafute forward rate sisi peke yetu. So forward rate itakuwa spot rate into 1 plus interest, not inflation. Interest of country C all over 1 plus interest of country B. So before we disappear very fast, can somebody tell me, according to understanding here, which country will be the numerator? Which country will be country C? Which country will be country C? Country C, I can only see one student giving me answers. Tanzania, Peter. Tanzania, yes, because of how the spot rate has been given. Tanzania iko juu, Kenya shilling iko chini. Si mambo ya superpower. Mwingine wako kiniambia mwalimu anajua superpower hapa ni Kenya. Hakuna Kenya anajua superpower. So in this case here, Tanzania shilling iko juu. Automatically B becomes the Kenya shilling like that. Kwa hivyo, nataka unisikize vizuri sana. Remember, Mr. A expects to do what? To pay. And if it's a payable, listen to me very well. If it is a foreign currency payable, we shall use which rule? Remember, it's like they are connecting money market with what? Forward contract. So the rule we shall use is this rule which says foreign payment, you borrow what? Local. Foreign payment, borrow local. Thank you very much. I can see how Doreen is putting it. Doreen is really taking a lot of time to understand this. The rule is foreign payment, borrow local, and then the bank does what here? The bank does what here, somebody? Sells. The bank sells. That is the rule. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want you to pick from me here. Which one is the buy rate? The buying rate between the two pata potea, 30-33. The buying rate ni gani? Somebody, buying rate ni gani? Buying rate. Buying rate ni gani? Dion Songo tells me 30-33. Nataka buy. Buying rate. Nataka buying rate. Nataka buying rate. Nataka buying rate. When I say yes, buying rate normally goes with the position of your home currency. The home currency is on the right hand side. The home currency is on the right hand side. Kenya shilling is on the right hand side. If it is on the right hand side, then the right hand side figure becomes what here? This becomes buy. And this becomes what here? Somebody? That becomes sell. So na tumesema kwamba the bank is doing what here? The bank is selling. So the effective selling rate should be 30. So the effective spot selling rate, the effective spot selling rate equals 30. The effective spot selling rate equals 30. Kwa hivyo nikija hapa natafuta pia future selling rate. So future selling rate itakuwa ni 30 into 1 plus interest in Tanzania. Interest in Tanzania, wacheni muone maajabu. Interest in Tanzania, what do we have there? Interest in Tanzania. Which rate should I work with? Interest in Tanzania, which rate should I work with? Hapa nimeandika chini sana. Interest in Tanzania, which rate should I work with? Pata potea. Interest in Tanzania, which rate should I work with? Ladies and gentlemen, remember, you are the ones who have told me foreign payment, borrow what here? Borrow local. So I'm going to borrow local, which is Kenya shilling. And when I go to interest rate in Kenya, I can see 8% all the way to 14%. Remember, borrowing is always higher. Borrowing is always higher. So I'm going to borrow at what here? At 14%, isn't it? In Kenya. In Kenya, borrowing is always, any country, borrowing is always higher. So I'm borrowing local currency, Kenya shilling, and then I will invest which currency? Somebody who is following online. Somebody who is following online. So I invest in which currency? Tanzania shillings, isn't it? So invest Tanzania shillings at which rate? Invest Tanzania shillings at which rate? Invest Tanzania shillings. You can see interest rate in Tanzania, investing is always the smaller. So at 12%. Sasa kujeni hapa mbio to substitute. So tutakuja useme namna gani? The spot, when invest spot ni 30. Spot ni 30 into 1 plus Tanzania shilling. Tanzania shilling, interest in Tanzania mesema, Tanzania ni 12%. So 0.12, remember this has to be multiplied with 4/12. With 4/12, all over 1 plus, which interest rate? Kenya. Mniambia kwa Kenya chini. Kenya. So 0.14 times 4 over what year? 12. Because of the 4 months. So hebu patia mwalimu the final answer. Na sasa endelea kutoka hapo. Patia mwalimu the final answer. The final answer ya forward rate inakuja ngapi? Tukipata hiyo peke yake tunaenda home. Tukipata hiyo peke yake home direct. Tukipata hiyo peke yake home direct. I just want the final answer. Hata Zoom karibu ijizime because we're going to set only 30 minutes. So the final answer, what do we have here? Somebody final answer. 30 times all this. Saidia mwalimu jameni, the final answer. Ndio niwaambie. According to my online students, wanasema final answer inafaa ikuwe 29.81. Tanzania shillings per what? Per Kenya shilling. And then remember the amount to be exchanged. Hii itakuwa sasa hii itakuja ikuwe namna gani? Wengi hapa hawajui kufuata body mass. Hapa lazima ufuate body mass. Wengi hawajui kufuata body mass. So mwisho, ladies and gentlemen, utakuja useme 29.81 Tanzania shillings equals 1 Kenya shilling. How about how many millions? 22 million Tanzania shillings. We make a question mark like this. We make a question mark like this. We make a question mark like that. Right? So 22 million times 1 divided by 29.81, and that is the end of that particular question. That is the end of the particular question. So what I'll do, of course, I'll give you this video. The one who is asking that we repeat the question itself will be able to watch it on the video. I would want to take this opportunity to invite all the new students. All the new students, we invite you to RCM. We have got two types of classes. We have physical classes. At RCM, we have physical classes, which happens at Stanbank House, first floor. And then, of course, we have got online classes. Online classes. Like we have one online class which normally happens at 8 p.m. Don't even remember the days. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. You need to call us for more information. This is our number: 0719 525,000. For only Kenya shillings 1,700, you'll be able to get access, in this case here, to top-rated lectures of advanced financial management, where we can even guarantee you a pass, so long as, of course, you will also be getting involved throughout. So please talk to us, and the moment, of course, you talk to us, straight away, you can't go wrong, especially where the CPA's national clerk is involved. That is myself. Goodbye. It has been a pleasure hosting you this afternoon. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. I hope you guys have gotten something, Yeah, great. Iku mwenye naomba namba ya Sharon, We shall overcome. Video na come, yes.